أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Today we will be discussing the last section of the 27 advices that come along in the last part of letter number 31 of Nahjul Balagha. So we have been discussing about 27 advices that Imam summarizes in the last part of the letter, and today is the last section of those 27 advices. And that brings us to the 21st advice, where Imam alayhi salam says, سَوْفَ يَأْتِيكَ مَا قُدِّرَ لَكَ. What is destined for you will soon come to you. Shortly you will get what has been destined for you. There's a hadith which says, اعلموا. اعلموا, know that. اعلموا أن عبدا وإن ضعفت حيلته. Know that a servant, even if his shrewdness, his tactics to work become weak, وَوَهَنَتْ مَكِيدَتُهُ, and his schemes lose power, إِنَّهُ لَنْ يَنْقُصْ مِمَّا قُدِّرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ. He will not be deprived of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined for him. Even if all his skills of getting something and all his schemes of acquiring something, they all become weak, they all lose power, yet whatever Allah has destined for him, be sure that he is going to get it. Okay? And then the hadith continues, وَإِنْ قَوِيَ عَبْدًا فِي شِدَّةِ الْحِيلَةِ. And even if a servant was to be strong in his schemes, and وَقُوَّةِ الْمَكِيدَةِ, and on his schemes also he would plan better and have better schemes, إِنَّهُ لَن يَزْدَادَ عَلَى مَا قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ. Surely it would not increase in what Allah has destined for him. So this is in no way trying to tell us to just sit back and watch and say, if Allah has designed something for him, he will definitely bring it, so I don't need to work. Or it is in no way going to dissuade a person from not putting in his struggle, but it is to tell us that whatever has been destined in Allah's immaterial realm, that is definitely going to come to us. Yes, we do need to put in our struggle, but this is a hadith which gives us solace when we don't get something. It tells us that if had it been destined for you, you would have got it. So the fact that you put in all that struggle and you did not get it, that means maybe there was something that was not right in you getting it. So that's what the hadith is saying. سوف يأتيك ما قدر لك. Very soon what has been destined for you will come to you. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is qadir, and that means he's all powerful, but the word qadir comes from qaddara. It comes from qaddara, which means destined with a measured power. So he destines what measure is good for who. So he's not going to give an equal thing to everybody. Destiny, the way it's destined, is destined by looking at our individual capacities. How capable I am to receive what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to give me, or how capable I am to acquire what I desire to acquire. Maybe out of acquiring what I desire to acquire, it is not going to be of benefit to me, in the sense that it might ruin my dunya or it might ruin my akhirah. So when Allah gives something, it is His qudra to give us with a measured power, because Allah measures and Allah sees our capacities. So the more I expand my capacity, the more Allah will give me. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives, it is His, in Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Surely Allah has power over everything, but He decides what measure is good for who and how much to give to whom. So everything that we acquire in our destiny is with a measured power, with a measured quantity. Advice number 22nd, it goes, a tajir muhatir, a trader undertakes risks. That is what the translation says. So the correct translation would be, a trader is a risk taker. It's a continuous action. Muhatir is somebody who is in a continuous state of taking risks. So he's a continuous risk taker. It's not a one-time thing. It's something that constantly happens. So if somebody is a tajir, if somebody is a businessman, then is a continuous risk taker. Continuously, a businessman is under risks. That is what it means. So risks are inevitable. Yeah, take the risk or lose the chance. No, no gain without pain. So yes, we will take risks, but we will be very, very careful of saving our iman and holding on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Advice number 23 is وَالرُّبَّ يَسِيرٌ أَنْمَا مِنْ كَثِيرٍ. Often a small, again, rubba is not often, but the translation says often a small quantity is more beneficial than a large quantity. So as we said before, rubba is probably sometimes, sometimes a small quantity is more beneficial than a large quantity. Or if we put it in our language, quality is better than quantity. So those things that are done with quality are always better than so many things done. It's a quantity, but it has no quality in it. For example, Imam alayhi salam says, the Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says from the Holy Prophet, Man ata Allah, one who obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, faqad dhakar Allah, then he has remembered Allah. وَإِنْ قَلَّتْ صَلَاتَهُ وَصِيَامَهُ وَتِلَاوَتُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. Even if then his salah has become less, his fasting has become less, his qira'atul Qur'an, reading of Qur'an has lessened. Look, Imam does not say that man ata Allah, one who obeys Allah, has remembered Allah even if he does not pray or even if he does not fast. Yeah, we have people in the community who tell us that so long as I am doing good humanitarian deeds, it's okay, I don't need to pray because I'm meditating, so it's good enough. I'm on a diet plan, so I don't need to fast. Yeah, tilawatul Quran is like you tell us that you get you get mental peace through reading the Quran. So I'm listening to mantras. I mean all sorts of things, right? So Imam has not said that somebody who obeys Allah is okay if he does not do his salah or he does not do his siyam or he does not recite Quran. He says wa in qallat. Even if these things are lessened, so even if these things are lessened to do only the wajibat, like he only prays wajib salah or he only does wajib fast, so it is enough so long as he has obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So obedience to Allah is so very important. Yeah, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been obeyed, he has been remembered. Even if the mustahab salah have been lessened, even if the fasts have lessened, even if the tilawat of Quran is less than you can normally do, but so long as you have kept yourself away from disobeying Allah and you have obeyed Allah, it is as good as having remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is one part of the saying. The second part says, وَمَنْ عَصَى اللَّهِ, and one who disobeys Allah, فَقَدْ نَسِيَ اللَّهِ, then he has forgotten Allah. Somebody who disobeys Allah, it's as good as forgetting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِن كَثُرَتْ صَلَاتَهُ وَصِيَامَهُ وَتِلَاوَتُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. Even if then his namaz are so many, like all nawafil is praying. In the month of Ramadan, 3 Laylatul Qadr, he prays 100 rakats. وَإِن كَثُرَتْ صَلَاتَهُ وَصِيَامِهِ, whole Rajab and Sha'ban he fasts, mustahab fast, but he disobeys Allah also. وَتِلَاوَتُهُ الْقُرْآنِ, he recites so many Quran, maybe five Quran in a month. So he is doing so many prayers, so many siyam, so many Quran, but at the same time he is also doing guna. Then Imam says he has forgotten Allah. Even if he is doing so many good deeds, the fact that he is disobeying Allah, he has forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that tells us the baseline is obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if I cannot do anything else, the fact that I have protected myself from disobeying Allah, that is the max I could have done. So coming back to the deeds and the quality in deeds, what gives quality to deeds? How do we say that these deeds have quality? Even if they are not so many, they are weighty deeds. So what gives deeds their weight? Sincerity in intentions gives value to deed. In Dua Makarimul Akhlaq, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam prays, وَانْتَهِ بِنِيَّتِي إِلَىٰ أَحْسَنِ النِّيَّاتِ, and take my intention to the best of intentions. Sometimes we start off a deed where we feel that this is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in the middle of the task, people start to praise me and tell me, wow, you are doing so well, such a good task. Carry on. It's such a nice thing. And I tend to feel, oh wow, so many people are pleased. So I start counting now how many people were pleased. So my neighbors told me, and my friends told me, and my family told me. So how about putting it on Facebook, you know? So I get so many likes from outside, and if I put it on the social media, and at the same time, Shaitan makes it so fair seeming to me that I would feel that I'm putting it on the Facebook because I want to encourage other people also to do the deed. But inside, I am feeding my ego, and I'm feeling good about the praise that people gave me. So my niyyah in the middle of the task, it had started off with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in the middle of the task it shifted and it became an egocentric deed. So Imam says, "Wantahi bi niyyati ila ahsani niyyat." Take my intention, the best of intentions, in the sense that when I start off something, the intention is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the middle of the task, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the end of the task also, it is only and only the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sincerity in intentions gives value to deeds. In the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Layl, verse number 19 and 20, وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. And no one has with him a boon for which he should be rewarded. There is no boon that should be rewarded more than what? That seeking of pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the biggest boon. If I have it in me that I want to do everything so that my Allah is pleased with me, there's no bigger ni'mah than that. So that is a big boon. Why? Because that ni'mah will make me work towards all those things that are going to acquire for me pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is a ni'mah which is supposed to be rewarded, because that ni'mah, if it stays crystal clear as it was given to me, then that ni'mah is bringing about deeds for Allah's pleasure, and then those deeds are rewarded. So sincerity in intentions is the biggest thing one can have to have weighty deeds. Preserved deeds. Preserved deeds hold value, because if I don't preserve my deeds, I start announcing them. I start putting it all over. Yeah, you don't have to post it to prove it. If you've done something, you've done it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let it stay with him. Even in Surah Al-Ma'un, verses number 4 to 6, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe be unto those who pray. Why? الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Those who do riya, those who do good to show off. So my prayer was not between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was a prayer where I wanted to show off that, look at me, I am praying, how slow I am praying, how much concentration I have in prayer. It was all to do with showing off. So with deeds that are being shown off, on the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us, and not any of us should face that fate, where Allah says, have you done it for me? Why are you expecting its reward from me? Go look for those people for whose pleasure you had done it. Go look for those people to impress whom you had done those deeds. They will pay you back. And unfortunately, even those people will be looking for rewards. So deeds that are done for the sake of announcing and for the sake of showing others have no value. Preserved deeds hold value. Preserved deeds are valuable deeds. Deeds preserved even from rotting with negative actions are valued. So not just announced, but negative actions also make preserved deeds rot. Like the Prophet says, Al-hasadu ya'kul al-hasanat kama ta'kulu an-nar al-hatab. Jealousy eats up dry wood the way, jealousy eats up good deeds the way fire eats up dry wood. So the fire devours dry wood. In the same way, when we are jealous, all our deeds, good deeds, are eaten up. So we might feel that I have so many good deeds. Like if I have a diary where I'm writing down everything I'm doing, I feel I have so much that I have done. Okay, so it is wrong, but I might be feeling that end of the day, like I have so many good deeds, I will go to Jannah. But I don't know that those deeds may have been eaten up by some wrong deeds that I've been doing. So there's a story where the Prophet was with one of his companions and he was telling them that when a mu'min says like takbir, tree is grown for him in the hereafter. When a mu'min does tasbih, maybe a house is built, and all those nice things that we are all looking forward to get in the hereafter. So the companion told him, wow, you know what, I must be having so many trees, a whole garden, and I must be having a big mansion and this and that. And then Prophet looked at him and said, but do you know what? Said what? And how much fire did you send there to burn those things off also? So we are not sure of what kind of fire also we've been sending to the hereafter, and that's burning up what we have gathered. Yeah. So negative deeds that we do, hatred on somebody, jealousy, giba, those are all negative deeds that burn up the good deeds that we've already gathered. So if you look at this picture, we have some grains which have been eaten up by worms. So when you weigh those grains, they will be, if I've bought a kilo, it will be a kilo. But then there are worms inside, and those worms have eaten up the grains. So when I take out and I say it's a kilo, yes, it's a kilo. But what is the worth of that kilo? Nothing. They need to go in the bin. Why? Because they've been eaten up. So in the same way, all those deeds that I so proudly feel that I've gathered so many deeds and I have so much, but I don't know how many of my deeds have already been eaten up from within, so they are no longer weighty. Advice number 24. لا خير في معين مهين ولا في صديق ظنين. There is no good in a mean helper. It's a helper, yes. But if it's a mean person, then I should not be expecting to be helped in a good way. Okay, if he helps me in a good way, khair. But don't expect goodness out of a helper who is mean. That is what the Imam says. وَلَا فِي صَدِيقٍ ظَنِينٍ. And even from a suspicious friend. He's a friend, yes, but he's so suspicious of me. So don't expect him to help to bring you goodness because you're suspicious of him. And just a point to note that friend is a sadiq. A wali is not a friend. In the Quran, sometimes the translators translate the word wali and awliya as friend and friends. But those are not friends. A wali is somebody who has authority of another person. So my Mawla is Amirul Mu'mineen. He is Waliullah. He is the wali of Allah who has authority on all believers. But there is not a Sadiq, there is a wali. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, do not be awliya of Najran and Yahudi, he does not mean normal friends. It is not Sadiq, it is awliya. That means that don't give them authority over you, because if you give them authority over you, they move you away from religion. So it's not about normal friendship with somebody. It is about giving somebody that authority to govern over you. So now you don't have any freedom of your own. You are already under their power. Who is a friend? Man da'aka ila dar al-baqiya. Anyone who calls you to the permanent abode. What is the permanent abode? The hereafter. So anybody who calls you towards the hereafter is a friend. وَأَعَانَكَ عَلَى الْعَمَلِ لَهَا. He calls you to the hereafter, and he also helps you gather stuff, do good deeds for the hereafter. فَهُوَ صَدِيقُ الشَّفِيقِ. Then he is a compassionate friend. Be friends with him. Why? Because he's inviting you towards the hereafter. He is helping you do good deeds that will take you towards the hereafter. Then he's a good person. Befriend him. He's a compassionate friend. Do not call anybody a friend. Imam says, لا تسمى الرجل صديقا سمت معروفة حتى تختبر ثلاث. Do not call anybody a true friend till you have tasted him in 3 occasions. What are they? تغضبه فتنظر غضبه. Make him angry, anger him, then see his anger. Watch how does he behave in the state of anger. Yeah. يخرجه من غضبه يخرجه من الحق إلى الباطل. Does his anger move him from haq to batil? If it does, he's not a good enough person to be called a friend. وَإِن the dinar وَالدِّرْهَمْ. And in the state of money, how is he attached to money? Would he fight with anybody and everybody for the sake of money? Would he be stingy and hold on to his money that he does not want to give anybody? What would he do with his money? How is he in his dealings with money? Is he unfair to people? Is he dishonest when it comes to money? Is he mean when it comes to money? Is he a miser? What kind of a person is he in regards to money? وَحَتَّى تُسَافِرْ مَعَهُ. And also till you have traveled with him, so that you know his habits and his reactions. When you have tasted a person in all these three things, in anger, in money matters, and in travel, and you have found him to be a good enough person, khair, nurun ala nur, be friends with him. But otherwise, do not call him a friend. عدو عاقل خير من صديق أحمق. An intelligent enemy is better than a stupid friend. Even in Gujarati you say that Akal waro dushman murak dosti saro. Why? Because that Sadiq and Ahmak, foolish friend, will want to do good, but in his niyyah to do good he will end up doing bad for you, because he is foolish. Out of his foolishness he will end up doing wrong to you. So it is better not to have him as a friend. It is better to stay without friends. It is better that you have an intelligent enemy somewhere, but you are okay. Why? Because you don't have a foolish friend. لا خير في صحبته من لا يرى لك كالذي يرى لنفسه. There is no goodness in befriending somebody who does not see for you that which he sees for himself. So there are people who are selfish and they only look at themselves and their benefits. So they may be friends with you to a time that is benefiting them, or they may be making use of you, taking advantage of you. So be careful. Don't be friends with somebody who is not concerned about you the way he is concerned about himself. Then there is no goodness in befriending such a person. من لم يصحبك معينا على نفسك فصحبته وبال عليك إن علمت. Anybody who in his friendship to you is of no help to you with your nafs. He does not give you any growth. You do not see yourself internally growing by that person's friendship, then that friendship is pointless for you. Pointless. If only you knew that you are wasting your time. So all friendships are supposed to nurture you, to take you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Advice number 25. Sahil ad-dahr ma dhallaka ka'uduh. Be compliant with the world as long as it is in your grip. So the Imam may be trying to show us here that the world is not going to be in our grips forever. Make use of those temporary moments that feel like you can benefit from them. Be vigilant when opportunity knocks at your door. Make use of opportunities, because at that time the world is in your grip. So make use of that grip and be compliant and do what you need to do. الدنيا دار المنافقين. Dunya is a place of abode for the hypocrites. وَلَيْسَتْ بِدَارِ الْمُتَّقِينَ. It is not a place of abode for the people who are pious, who are believers, who are muttaqeen. Even when we look at the khutbah of muttaqeen, the sifat that Imam Ali alayhi salam is ascribing about the muttaqeen, he says that these muttaqeen are such people that if it was not for a destined time to die, their souls would not have stayed in their bodies even for a fraction of a second, because they would want to die. So that's how the muttaqeen are. They are not so much pulled down on earth that I want this and I want to live for this and I want to see this and I want to do this. They're not dunya related people. So Imam says, وَلَيْسَتْ بِدَارِ الْمُتَّقِينَ. The dunya is not a place of abode for the muttaqeen. Then why are we here? Then why is the dunya a place of abode for us? Why have we been brought here? So he says, فَلْتَكُنْ حَذَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا قَوَامَ سُلْبِكَ. Then it should be enough for you. The dunya should be enough for you to do what? To take enough to keep your body strong, to keep yourself living, and also to increase your provision for the hereafter. That is why you are in the dunya. Advice number 26, he says, وَلَا تُخَاطِرْ بِشَيْءٍ رَجَاءَ أَكْثَرْ مِنْهِ. Do not put yourself to any risk in expectation of getting more than that. So your expectation should be to keep your body strong, to keep living, and to keep gathering for the hereafter. More than that, do not have expectations, because it is going to keep you in a dangerous situation. So don't ask for more, don't be greedy, because sometimes your greed makes you work and work and work until you lose out your capital also. So don't be so greedy where the result is of losing on your capital also. Like like investing in share markets or easy money plans where things might not go the way you want them to go, and everything that you have invested will go into a locking system. And the last advice of this part is وَإِيَّاكَ أَن تَجْمَعَ بِكَ مَطِيَّةُ اللَّجَاجِ. Beware of obstinacy out of defiance. Sometimes we know the truth, yet we choose to disobey Allah. We know that this is not supposed to be done, yet we decide to do it. Why? So for this there are several reasons, some of which those that I could think of are social status. So my social status demands of me to be doing a certain act. If I don't do it, people will talk about me. Yeah. So for example, I'm not. But for example, if I'm very very rich, so it is expected of me to have a grand mixed gender gathering in my child's wedding. If I don't do it, people will speak about me. So my social status is making me have that mixed gender gathering despite knowing very well that this is against Allah's wishes. So it is an obstinate defiance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or sometimes we're working somewhere, it's a nicely paying job, or we have hold a position that is a famous position, and if I persist on doing the right, or if I persist on keeping away from wrong, then I will lose the job. So if it's a young girl who's working somewhere and she's wearing her hijab, and one fine day when she goes there, they tell her that, you know what, your hijab is ruining our business, so from tomorrow please don't wear this hijab. So I might even justify to myself that, you know what, it's a matter of earning my risk. So if I don't take off my hijab, how will I get my risk? So I remove my hijab, na'uzubillah. So that is another reason. Material gain. Sometimes we, out of disobeying Allah, we join a circle where there is material gain, or there might be some schemes, Ponzi schemes, where you gain material, and even if it is haram, I still want to do it. Why? Because it's a gain. I'm earning things. I'm earning money, or interest, for example. Even in the Holy Quran, it is said that they are asking that why is business not haram and interest haram? It's just like a business. So that's how some of the reasons for being obstinate and disobeying Allah. Or sometimes our hearts rule over our minds. So we know that something is wrong, we know something is haram, but our desires overpower us and we end up doing those wrong things knowingly. Or no, sometimes there are those gunas which we consider them small. Somebody used to lying. He will consider that lying is something very small. So even if he's lying, he knows he's lying, and yet he's lying. Why? Because that is something small. But all those small things get together and becomes a big pile. And that becomes big. If we remember the story of the Prophet, and he had gone to the desert and he told his companions to bring twigs. And when the companions brought, they first refused to bring the twigs, saying that, but Prophet said, no, you go and look. So they all came with twigs and little logs and this and that, and a big pile built up. So in the same way, when we consider any sin small, we do it so frequently that it becomes a big thing, and that turns into a gunah kabira. So obstinate disobedience to Allah. Or no, sometimes we feel that Allah Ghafurur Rahim che, we take him for granted. Allah maaf karse. Yeah? Or sometimes we say ignorance is a bliss. So even when someone wants to warn me that this is wrong, I would tell her, no, please, tara mula pana, please, tara pasirak, manati something. Why? Ignorance is a bliss. No, when somebody is educating you, ignorance is not a bliss. It's wajib on you to know. But no, because if I know, then I won't be able to be doing the sin. So I'd rather tell her, please, mane nahi ke. And in reality, people do that. Yeah? Another factor is peer pressure. So the friends and family and this and that, they all pull you towards doing wrong things. So when you're doing the wrong thing, you know it is wrong, yet you will do it. Why? To fit in that group of peers. Or no, sometimes it has been a trend from our forefathers that this has to be done. Something simple, like a wedding ceremony. So we have a one eye and this and that, and all the young children of our community get together, extended family. So nobody is wearing hijab. The girls are putting henna, and the lado there, he is sitting there, and the girls are messing around and fooling around with him and with his other cousins. That's a mixed gender gathering. But that's the trend, social trend, or maybe it has come to us from our forefathers. આ તો ઘરમાં વિવાહ તો થાય જ ના. વિચારો એક ફેરે પૈણે છે. How many times do other people get married? Once. If somebody is getting married once, do it in the way of Allah. Let Allah gives His barakah to that wedding. But we do all sorts of haram things, especially in the wedding. Why? Because that is how the norm is. And the last one is changing habits become hard. When habits have taken root into us, it's hard to change habits and go back to being pure. إياك واللجاجة فإن أولها جهل وآخرها ندامة. Beware of obstinacy. Why? Because it begins with ignorance. It's small. You convince yourself that it's okay. But then it ends up in regret. How? In the day of Qiyamah, when I look back at my deeds and I would say, Ya laytani, Ya laytani, Ya laytani. Oh, I wish. Oh, I wish. Oh, I wish. But that state of wishing and doing is today, not in the hereafter. So today, if I keep away from obstinacy, today, if I keep vigilant about the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what I need to do, then tomorrow there will not be any regret. Tomorrow there will be pleasure because we will be enjoying the rewards of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will be away from a pitiable state in the fire of hell. That brings us to the end of the 27 advices that Imam has given in the almost last part of this letter. And we have summed them all up with these short videos. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.